I see Sheikh Mai's picture.
Oh, I think that's for me, Sheikh. I'm on the
Yeah, I see you, and I see Sheikh Mai picture going in and out.
Yeah, Sheikh. I think that's because I'm on the account that had the other classes we do.
Oh, I see.
Put Sheikh Mai's picture on there, yeah.
Sidi Habib, when you're ready, we can go ahead and start, inshallah.
Okay. Cool. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم الصراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراط المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذرياته وأهل البيت كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رضي الله عن أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم يا همة الشيخ اخترنا بهذا المحض ولا تعطي من نظرة بعدنا ضعف أما بعد السلام عليكم. Welcome everyone to our weekly Maliki Fiqh class with our teacher Shaykh Ameen Abdul Awwal Akhir, the top student in this part of the world of Dr. Suleiman Dunya, rahmatullah alayhi, the illustrious scholar of fiqh, of theology, and of tasawwuf from Azhar University. Shaykh Ameen was a student of Dr. Dunya for well over a decade and has been teaching, studying and teaching the Maliki Madhab fiqh according to the Maliki methodology for over 50 years, longer than anybody else we know in this part of the world. So, and I give this spiel every week for new people. He's teaching us lessons from the book Ashar as-Saghir, which is the highest level, well, one of the highest level, if not the highest level, authoritative book in the Maliki Madhab, which is the text that he studied with Dr. Suleiman Dunya. He's teaching us lessons from that text. Currently, we're in the book of Tahara. So he's been giving us lessons on wudu, on purity. But alhamdulillah, when we have a teacher like Shaykh Ameen who's been studying and teaching for so long, you know, alhamdulillah, he doesn't confine himself to just what's on the pages for that day. You know, Allah sometimes puts things on his heart for us to discuss to help us understand how to apply this knowledge in our current context. And it's as the scholars of North Africa say, the people of knowledge of North Africa, they say, we don't take our Islamic knowledge from black marks on a white page. We take our knowledge from one heart to the next. And Shaykh Ameen has taught us that Imam Shafi rahmatullahi used to say that the person who takes their knowledge only from books, they have missed learning altogether. So we thank Allah for this opportunity to take knowledge from one of our most qualified people among us, and to connect ourselves with one of the biggest and most blessed lines of knowledge transmission that we have access to. So without further ado, I'm going to put my phone on mute so that we can all listen and benefit from Shaykh Ameen.
He's fading in and out. He's put it on mute. Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil mursaleen. Sayyidina Muhammad wa sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi وتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذرياته وآل بيت كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أنا بد. So I thank Dr. Habib Rasul for those very kind words. I personally don't think of myself in that way, but I thank him for those very kind words. As a matter of fact, I feel like all of the Muslims are better than I. I just had an opportunity by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to gain this knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the opportunity to study with a man like Dr. Suleiman Dunya and put it in my heart to complete this work with him as long as he was available. But there's like so many lessons that I learned from Dr. Dunya outside of this book that, you know, I feel compelled to give you that information also. Right now, and I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings when I'm giving this type of information, but I don't have a choice but to inform you that was a part of the agreement that I made with Dr. Dunya, rahmatullahi alayhi, was that my main purpose was to help the Muslims, especially the indigenous people, to gain their foothold in Islam here in America. There had never been a teacher of his magnitude, or at that time, any teacher of any type of magnitude that was available to the indigenous people. And he said that was one of the reasons he could have went anywhere to teach people, but he came here because we had never had anybody like that. In any case, his main thing for us was to stand up for ourselves. We used to always ask him, Sheikh Dunya, ya Imam, lead us. He said, any place I go in the world, I become the Imam in that area, wherever it is, in any place in the world. He said, but I can't be your leader. He told me that the leader has to come from the people themselves. And he said, when you look for a leader, don't look for the people that are standing out front. And he cited a hadith from Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, talking about the people that will come in the future. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says something like, the best of those people in the future, the best Muslims will be the ones who often are sitting in the back. Often are sitting in the back as if they were hiding. And he said that when you search for your leaders, look for those people, not the ones who want to be the leader. And many other things he talked about in regards to that. So I think I have to tell you some things. Right now, it appears that we are very confused. Not quite as confused as we were in the past. We're doing much better. But we're still very confused because people are more intent on what they want than on following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wants and desires for us. Like they have a group of people called the Marines, the Marine Corps. And that Marine Corps has a particular way that they look at the work they have to put in. And they call it a spirit to core. And basically what it means is that those people who are part of that group consider that the work of the group is bigger than the work of an individual. And because of their training, they lose that me philosophy, I philosophy. At one time, Dr. Dunya wouldn't let me say I in a sentence for months at a time. It had to be we and us. At that time, I couldn't really figure it out, but as time went on, I started to realize he was grooming me to help my people. Once I asked him, well, you know, what can we do? What can I do, you know, to help the people? What can we do to change our condition? And he said, each person, it starts with them. That each person have to put what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like ahead of what he likes. I don't know if you follow history, but in history, they have many talks, many hadith, many statements of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that show that the group, Islam itself, is bigger than the individual. So one of our main problems, as I see it, is that we're so self-absorbed and greedy to be seen and heard and known and popular, or, you know, this is not the Islamic way. What a person should do is, as Hadrat Ali, radiallahu ta'ala an, when he had the sword at the neck of the enemy, and the enemy spit in his face, and all of the Sahaba would tell him, kill him, kill the enemy, kill the enemy. And he held his sword back. So at the end of the battle, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, why did you hold your sword back from that enemy? And Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, because he spit in my face just before I was going to kill him. And I held my hand because I didn't know if I was going to kill him because he spit in my face or because he was the enemy of Islam. So this shows us that nothing is more important than the work of al-Islam. We are all mixed up. Our purpose, it should be, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like? What does he love? What is our orders for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Islam should be our spirit to core. So whenever you're going to make an action, you have to look at yourself, look in your heart and say, why am I making this action? Is this action for me? Or is this action for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because as I see it, we have inappropriate action inside our homes and our family. We have inappropriate action outside in the world, on our jobs. Just in general, we don't stop first and make the strong intention. What we're doing, is it for Allah or is it for ourselves? If it's for yourself, you need to redirect your strengths. You need to redirect your niyyah, your intention. If someone tells you that you're more important, what you're feeling is more important than what Islam says is right, if you listen to them, you may not be a Muslim. My teacher always used to say, maybe they are Muslims. Maybe they are Muslims. I once said that to people, some people in a class, and they tried to correct me and tell me, you can't say that. It's not me saying it. The last thing I want to tell you before I do my book. During the time of Musa alayhi salam, the people were left to wander in the desert for 40 years. When my teacher explained to me about those 40 years of wandering, he explained to me that those 40 years were years of purification. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to change the condition of those people by letting the youth, the people who were young at the time when they came out of Pharaoh's land, and in 40 years of wandering in the desert, when I say wandering, that's exactly what I mean. They would leave from one spot in the morning, and when they stopped at night, they would be in the same place that they left from. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's work. And they say that this was so that those people amongst them who were holding back the community in their wayward ways and not following the rules and putting themselves above the nation would be eradicated through time. So I'm saying to my people today, during my era as a youth, they had brothers, you know, they have committees. You know, if the shoe fit, then you wear it. If it don't fit you, don't worry about it. But they had all these different groups and committees. And as time went on, nothing changed. Nothing changed. So now what I see, I used to make dua and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send some young people that are like, they would be like my sons. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered me. And he sent me these young men from Nasrullah who they are putting in work. The older brothers, you had your opportunity. Now it's these young brothers' opportunity, and they're doing the best with their opportunity. What we should be doing is supporting their effort, not being jealous, not being spiteful, supporting their efforts. Don't do like the people used to do, jump from one sheikh to the next sheikh, to the next imam, whoever was popular at the time. We need to have a spirit the core for Islam and put Islam ahead of everything, because that in fact is our mission. Our mission is not to have the best car or to have the nicest stove. You know, I mean, you can, of course, you should try to look well and to present Islam well. So Dr. Dunya used to always say, whatever the Muslims do, they should be obviously in a better condition than everybody else. See? So this is where we're making a mistake. Our mistake is we come out being looking better than everybody else, but not necessarily for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, we should be representing Islam everywhere we go, all the time. Because as I always teach my students, the people don't read the Quran. The people don't read books of hadith. They recognize Islam from our behavior. The Muslims. I have people ask me sometimes, Shaykh Ameen, why are you dressed like that? I said, oh, that's so that you will recognize me if you want to know about Islam, and you can ask me. And I'll be here to help you, God willing, inshallah. So, you know, you don't have to do that either. But whatever you do in your life, ideally, your mission in life should be the work of Al-Islam. Not what puts money in your pocket. Of course, you need money to survive here in this world, but what do you use it for? These young guys, I watched them. They use their monies for the betterment of Al-Islam. They use their talents and ability for the betterment of Al-Islam. So if you look at yourself in an honest light and you don't see yourself representing Al-Islam in your life, I'm not talking about just because you wear kufi, I'm talking about because of your actions. What do the people see from you? Even the Kufa recognize what a Muslim is supposed to be like. Don't you think they're blind to us? We are the representatives that are taking on the work of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. And you have to trust and have respect for these young men who are doing these things to present Islam to us. It's very necessary. This is not a mission that an individual can do. You look at the traditions in history. Something very simple. They asked Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about unity, strength of unity. He said, go there and take that branch off the tree and bring it here. And they did it, and he said, now break it. They broke it, and he said, now put it together and break it again. When they put it together, they couldn't break it the next time. So everything that Islam is about it's about the unity of purpose. It's about the development of Islam wherever you are. And anybody who's doing the other things and thinking that they're doing Al-Islam, they're thinking that. That's in their imagination. See, there's a direct road. The book that we take this Shal Sagrir from, called the Muwatta, it means exactly that. It means the road most often traveled. See, people who want to make their own road, you don't have to follow that. And this is why education is so highly important. It's not enough just to make tasbih. You have to put your action, your words into action, as I see these young men trying to accomplish. Some of them, you don't even see them. They're behind the scenes, putting in work. Okay, I'm happy to be able to give you that talk. I've done my responsibility, because I don't want to have to meet Dr. Suleiman Dunya in the future. I mean, I want to meet him in the future. That, you know, I know that if I can be with Dr. Dunya in the future, inshallah, I should be okay. But I don't want him to have to ask me, what did I think? What were you doing? What were you doing? See? So we put this work in so that when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will feel comfortable by saying, I put in the work. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the fards of ghusl. And when it comes to this class, when it comes to me teaching these classes online, I don't know if you can really understand this, but this is not the same as when I sit down and teach classes in the masjid. See, this is just something to whet the appetite of the people who wonder, do they need education? You know, many people don't really think that they need fiqh. They think, oh, it's okay, I'll be all right. I'll just read this book. Or I'll listen to my neighbor. Unless your neighbor is an alim, you got a problem. Because most of what people interpret in these books is absolutely wrong. They may have a general idea, see, but as Dr. Rasul say, Imam Shafi say, if a person think he's learning from, if he think he can learn from a book, he has missed learning. You have to have a teacher. I got my student, Haj Daoud, he explains that so nicely that when he starts explaining it, I stop and listen to him. See, the importance of education is beyond your wildest imagination how important it is. Okay, right now I'm going to talk about what's fard in ghusl. Fard means obligatory. Of course, the niyyah, because in the madhab of Imam Malik rahmatu alayh, without niyyah, you have no action. Without niyyah, you have no action. So niyyah always has to precede whatever your action is going to be. The ulama say, anything of importance in your life should start with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So we understand that to mean Bismillah should always be in front of whatever you're going to do with the niyyah for what the action is you're going to make. You cannot wash without niyyah. Niyyah must be made for washing all the parts. If you leave out your sunnahs, it will not be canceled your ghusl, that is your hands, mouth, nose, and the whole of the ears, the inside and outside. There is extra reward for making a niyyah to do those sunnahs and those mustahabs in the wudu for ghusl. They're not the fards. To make a continuous washing, you must wash each part before the next becomes dry. This is a rule. In other words, you can't wash some of the parts. They say, okay, wait a minute, I want to turn off the TV. Throw a towel on real quick, run, and turn off the TV, and then come back and get back in for the ghusl. You sick? If when you go back and you notice that the last part of your body that had been washed before you stopped your ghusl, when you came back, that part was dry, that means you were away from your ghusl too long, and you need to start a new one that you're going to do continuously. You can't start just from where you left off. If that last part is dry, you don't have a continuous wiping. The third thing is the water must touch every part of your body except those 5 sunnah parts that I talked about. Without those 5 sunnah parts being water and touching, you still have ghusl. Again, those parts that I discussed, the nose, inside the nose, the mouth, the ears, the hands, these things are not the faraj. If by any way you don't have water touching those, your ghusl is still a ghusl as long as the water touches all of the other parts of your body. You must rub each part. In ghusl, you can rub one part of your body with another part of your body. It's very important that water touches each part. There are 2 sayings in the madhab. First, let me explain to you. If you can do like this, rub on the arms, each arm, you can rub with your wrist on the face. You can take your feet and rub on the other foot. All of these things are considered as fine for ghusl as long as the water is touching each part. The sunnah, the way that the Prophet ﷺ did it, and we're going to talk about that in a few, is that he washed the right side, front, and back. He washed the left side, front, and back. And then he did his feet, and as long as the water touched all of those parts, he had a ghusl. The head, when they start, they do like this, and then they take water and they do the water like that. So let me give you another abbreviation. If you took yourself to the lake and you dipped your whole body in the lake 3 times with the niyyah of ghusl, you would have a ghusl. You see, ghusl is not like wudu. Wudu, you have to rub each thing. This is the farad, rubbing each thing for wudu. But for ghusl, the biggest part of the farad is that water have to touch all the parts. Now you can like take your hand and move the water around, see, but the actual rubbing, like, that's wudu. For ghusl, if you do like that and the water touches all the parts, I hope you can see me. The water touches all the parts, then you're making ghusl. They used to say to me, how could you make ghusl that fast? I'm like, because I know exactly what I'm going. When I go in there, with a sense of purpose, and I know how to do it. It don't take me a long time because, I know what is farad. So you'll see, once you understand this lesson well, and after a little while, you're going to do it just as well, or maybe even better than me. But it's a means of having the knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, all the doors open for you. It's just a matter of putting your knowledge into practice. Knowledge without practice is useless. It's just information. Okay. If you expose your private parts to your wife while in ghusl, it's considered as makruh. If your wife sees your private parts while you making ghusl, it's considered as makruh. Not haram. Haram for everybody else, not for your wife or your husband. See? Haram for everybody else. Makruh meaning that, it's not a like thing, but if it happens, you don't have to cancel your ghusl and start again. It's makruh, not haram. Okay. But with anybody else, seeing your private parts, it's unlawful. It's haram alayh. It's completely wrong. See? Okay. The water must touch the hair and the scalp. And this is why they loosen the hair like this before they put the water on it, so that, it gives an area for the water to be able to touch through to the scalp too. Another thing that's very big, especially in ghusl, you must wash between the toes 3 times. You have to rub between them. If you use a bathtub to make the ghusl, then get right out. Don't stay sitting there. In other words, if you get in the bathtub and you're going to make ghusl, you can't make ghusl sitting in water that the water is going to become infected by its taste, color, and smell for you to be able to make ghusl. Ghusl have to be made with fresh, clean water. So if you sit in the bathtub long enough, call yourself making ghusl, the water is going to change, because whatever was coming, whatever is coming in contact with the water, if it starts to change those 3 things, the taste, color, smell of the water, then it's not considered as water anymore. It's whatever the thing is that is changing its taste, color, and smell. So Islam says, because we know that for sure, we shouldn't sit in water for a period of time so that the taste, color, and smell would change in the water. So if you want to just sit in water to relax, but you need to make a ghusl, then make the ghusl first. And then, once when Dr. Dunya was explaining this to me, there was another few people inside there, and they kept asking, but Dr. Dunya, when we take a bath, are we making ghusl? So Dr. Dunya said, well, of course, but you can't stay sitting in the water. So a brother said, well, suppose you just want to relax in the water. So Dr. Dunya couldn't understand what the heck he was talking about. He kept saying, excuse me? And then he looked at me and said, what does he mean? I said, well, he don't exactly understand. He says, what is Ajib saying? Oh, so Dr. Dunya said, well, I don't know what you're thinking, but nobody sits in water without using it for ghusl. Nobody has that much water without using it for ghusl. He completely could never understand that theory, the American theory of sitting in the bathtub, for long periods of time. As far as he was concerned, it was like a big waste of water. But I'm an American, so I understand that, a part of our philosophy in life is that, we misuse things. We misuse the gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. And, because we're used to doing it, it's just a habit. It's like, nobody really thinks about that unless, you've been trained. But if you're going to make ghusl and then you want to relax sitting in water, make the ghusl first. Because if you're sitting in the water, the taste, the color, or the smell, or if you pour something into the water like bubble bath or any of that kind of stuff, especially ladies, they have to remember you can't make ghusl with this kind of stuff in your water. See? You can't make ghusl in water that has changed by its taste, color, and smell. Okay. Let me see. Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi says, if you are janub, that means that you have a physical, hadith akbar, something that makes you need ghusl instead of wudu. Like a person, like people having sex with each other and stuff like that, husband and wife. He says, if you're janub and there is no water, you may make a tayammum. One should make a fresh wudu between each act of sexual intercourse. It has different of opinion. The biggest opinion is that you should at least wash all people agree, all the scholarship agree, you should at least wash your private parts. Then some other big ulama say, and you should make a fresh wudu, in spite of the fact that you're still going to have to make ghusl. But this wudu is a prelude to the ghusl. So you get these sunnah parts wiped. It says, when you wipe yourself after the ghusl, this wiping is done one side first and the other side second, as the method for drying yourself. Also, in Al-Islam, when you dry yourself, avoid touching your private parts with your hand. Use something thick enough to keep the heat from your private parts so that you don't feel the heat. If you feel the heat in your hand when you're washing your private parts, then the thing you're using is too thin and you weren't being careful. So you broke wudu after just making ghusl, if that happens. So I used to ask Dr. Dunya, well, what thing do you wash first? What thing do you dry first? He said, you dry your private parts first. And then you dry the right side and the left side, and like that. The last thing you dry is your feet. He said that you can do some other things in between that wudu you make for ghusl and the ghusl itself. Once you have made that wudu with the niyyah that I'm making this wudu before I do the ghusl, if then you want to go turn off the TV or something and you come back, it's okay. Because that wudu of one wiping didn't go away. That wudu was, the niyyah was for the ghusl. Imam Malik, you can have 2 braids only during ghusl and not more than that. So the ulama, I don't know if you understand everything I'm saying. The ulama say some people believe you can have 3 braids, 3, 2 on the side and 1 in the middle. And that, it would allow the water to touch the scalp and soak through the hair. But the majority believe that 2 braids, if you had 2 braids, it's more appropriate. So the sisters always ask me a question, especially African American women. Well, Sheikh, we have these intricate braidings in our hair. If we had to take out these intricate braidings, it'd take forever for us to make ghusl. So I had to question Dr. Dunya in detail, and basically he told me that this decision wasn't specifically geared towards Black people who have a different type of hair, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows our situation. And Dr. Dunya himself thought, as long as we could get the water through these braids enough that we could say it also touched the scalp, it would be considered as enough for us. This is debatable, because it takes so long for the sisters to undo these braids that personally I have a problem with trying to tell them to undo all those braids. But this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer that for you, and I pray that he gives us the flexibility because our hair is different, that, you know, as long as the water gets through, we are considered as having made ghusl. Okay, I'm going to stop here. This is the end of this page. Next time I'm going to do the reasons for ghusl. Now I'm going to listen to Habib. You there, Habib?
Yes, Salaam alaikum, Shaykh.
Alaikum salam tullah. I'm going to listen to Habib, and I'm going to try to answer a couple of questions. You know, if it's too intricate, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to answer. You know, some of the questions that the people call me on the phone for, so intricate that, you know, I don't do phone fiqh. Okay, anyway, go ahead, Habib. Muhammad, stop, Muhammad. Okay.
Okay. So, Sheikh, and for anybody who joined a little bit late, I want to remind you, please type your questions in the chat, inshallah. Type your questions in the chat and we'll ask them. The first question we have, someone asked, does touching the private parts break wudu for sisters also?
Yeah, if your hand, look. For sisters, there's a slightly different ruling. If your hand goes inside the vagina, you need ghusl. If you're gonna make wudu don't, you know, it don't require your hand going inside your vagina. You know, it's like if I'm a sister and I'm gonna wash my private parts, I'm probably gonna use something like a cloth in my hand that will prevent my hand from going inside the private parts. I hope that's enough for them. You know, I don't want to get too graphic. Okay, as you like.
No. Someone else is asking, can I take it on mute? Yes. Someone is asking, in the ghusl, do we wash our right and left side 3 times a piece as well?
Yes. First, you do 3 times. But listen, this is the highest level method. They got another method, as I told you, about the person that just goes in the lake.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't washing a whole bunch of times. He just immersing himself in the water. See, because the biggest thing is that the water have to touch each part of the body at least 1 time. The sunnah is that you wash each part 3 times. Fard, the sunnah, and the mustahab. But 1 time is the fard, and it have to touch each part of that body except those sunnah parts I talked to you about. So once you start doing it by that method, you're gonna see it goes quickly. You know, you want to make sure you do have the water touch each part of the fard parts of your body at least 1 time. And if you do it 3 times, you know you have that for sure, and what extra you can also receive. Okay, as you like, Habib.
So I have a question that someone asked a couple of weeks ago. I want to go back to. So this question is about. Yeah, so someone's asking about the fidya for a person who couldn't fast. Someone, well, if is unable to fast, they have to pay. So I guess the real question is, do they have to pay the fidya? And for people who do have to pay the fidya, what is the proper way? So they asked, how much does it have to be? Does it have to be given 1 time, or can it be? Should it be given over a period of days?
Okay.
Yeah.
let's just stick to English. So
Yes.
the person wants to know if they broke a fast, what should they do in regards to, or if they missed the day of fasting, what should they do in regards to
Yeah.
payment?
Yes. This person was unable to fast due to illness. But the
Well,
bigger question is, yeah.
if they can't fast because they have illness, the doctor tell them you can't fast, you know, or if that's Ibrahim,
That's Muhammad.
or that's Muhammad. So if the doctors, if you got a medical reason, a legitimate medical reason, you don't owe nothing. You know, you can do it like as a replacement. You should do it by the day. Like if you know, when you wake up in that morning and you know that you're sick and you can't fast, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala don't expect you to be punished for that. You the sickness that come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't make yourself. I mean, you know, if you get drunk or something, you know, then you wake up sick, that's on you. You disallowed yourself from the ability to fast, and so you made yourself sick, and you got to pay a penalty for that. But you know, if you wake up sick because of the hospital, or you have a chronic sickness that you know you're gonna wake up sick, you know you can't fast, you know, then you let it go. Just you know, you try to feed a poor person if you can, but it's not a punishment for that person. It's just like it's a substitute. Let us say he don't have to pay the 60 days of continuous fasting for each day that they miss, plus that day. They don't have to do that. They just have to like feed a poor person what you would feed yourself as an adequate meal. That if they didn't have another meal for that day, what you fed them would be enough for them to be able to say, I had a meal today. So let's say a meal, and also don't give them the money. This is where a lot of people make that mistake, being so lazy. You give them the money, a lot of the people who need the meal will take the money and get high with it. They won't even do the meal. So if you can discern, oh, okay, person need the food, let me buy him the food. Make me a sandwich, make me a halal sandwich, or maybe some tuna fish, or you know, and something to drink, and give it to him. That's how you do it. You don't just give them $10 and say, hey, go get you some food. Because if they did that, if they give the person the $10 to go get some food, the course the brother gonna say, the sister gonna say, oh, thank you so much, Sheikh. They're gonna take your $10 and put it in their pocket. When they walk away, you don't know what they're gonna do with that $10. See? So you are supposed to actually make sure they get the food with it. But feeding the hungry person is the agenda. Okay, Habib, let me see where I'm at. Okay, go ahead.
Alhamdulillah. And the last part of the question was just, does it have to be someone in their local area, or can it be someone else?
Man, a hungry person is a hungry person. It should be somebody, you know, hungry, somebody that need food. You know, you may not be able to find nobody in your immediate area, depending on where you live. You know, maybe you may know, like in my neighborhood, I know if I go outside at a certain time of the day, I'm gonna find some people, because they, you know, I have people that ask me that ain't even Ramadan. They come up to me and say, Sheikh, I'm hungry. I say, you hungry? Okay, come on, let's go over here. Let me get you something to eat. You know, so I mean, if you're not in touch with the people that are having problems in your neighborhood, then there's something wrong with you. See, people should know this is our representation. We are Muslims. You got to understand this. Our representation for Islam is to help people in need. That's who we are. once Sheikh Mai say, I was listening to Sheikh Mai. Sheikh Mai said, when Sheikh Hassan, his brother, used to go out in the day, there would be a line of people waiting for him to come outside so that, they can get food and whatever else they ask for, they could ask Sheikh Hassan for it. He say, every day, he used to see Sheikh Hassan come out and have this food and monies and stuff to give to the people in need. He said, but for the life of him, he couldn't understand where did it keep coming from. He would go out one in the morning and he would give all his monies and stuff away, come home, and the next morning, he'd do the same thing. But he didn't see nobody bring him nothing. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps the people who help people. You got to understand that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps people that help people. You have the right. You can say, well, I only got $10. Okay, that's okay. We don't always have money, but for whatever you have, take a little bit of it to help somebody. Stop being selfish and greedy. Help somebody. And you'll see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will return it to you. Either now or later, or now and later. But the people of faith, they recognize that if they do the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and help people, they do the work of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help us. I'm not telling women to give money to men. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're not equipped to deal with a person, a man who wants more money than you want to give him. That's not for you to do. For you, if you see a little old lady or somebody like that, and they seem like they're hungry or something, you can help them. But you don't have nothing to say to men. You got to understand this principle. Women don't deal with men outside of their husband. If they do, they're breaking a big rule in Islam. In some places, some Islamic places, they will give you hudud, yani punishment for that type of thing. Things that the Americans take as normal, In other places, that's a crime. They will consider you as having made a crime by, talking to some man outside of your husband, and you will be shaming your husband too, dishonoring him. Okay, as you like, Habib. I'm almost finished, right?
Yes, Sheikh. Sheikh, we have a question from Brother Frank. Brother Frank
you there?
He's there. He's always there.
Assalamu alaikum, Frank. Okay, Habib.
He was asking about when we say Ameen at the end of the Fatiha and Salat. Should it be said shortly or should it be made long?
I don't know what he means by short and long.
Meaning, should we say Ameen or Ameen?
First of all, in the madhab of Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi, Ameen is not said audibly. It's not said audibly. This is something, mashallah. Anyway, you should say softly and quietly. Ameen. It shouldn't be Ameen, like I have heard people do in different places. That's not the right way. See, Ameen should be quickly, softly, quietly. That's Ameen. It shouldn't be like you're singing a song. Like, you know, I hear a lot of the places, they over exaggerate these type of things. Okay, as you like.
Alhamdulillah. Sheikh, alhamdulillah, we got through all the questions today.
Okay, so let me just remind you. If you call me for something, don't call me and give me a lecture about what you want to ask me. You know, the main reason is that I don't care what your lecture is. If it's something that I learned from the scholars, I don't care what your opinion is. You don't have to give me no lecture. I may not even want to talk to you after that because it's disrespectful. If you're going to give me a lecture, then what you calling me for? Why waste my time? And you can't call somebody and ask them redundant questions like, why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take children away? You know, who the heck knows that? That's Allah's realm. That has nothing to do with us. Our trial is, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take the child away through death, it's our trial to live through that. Say, mashallah, inna lillahi inna ilaihi raji'un, and go through our life. Keep going. Not sit around brooding, oh, Allah took my daughter, my son. Why should I worship him? Yeah, get out of here. That's not even a question for people of faith. That's like saying, you don't discuss how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sit on the throne in Ayatul Kursi. That's not even for discussion. If I talk to you from now until the moon turns purple, it's a waste of time. We'll never get that right. Oh, that's for Allah. That's only Allah knows these things. And if he chooses, when we meet with him, inshallah, he will reveal. One of the very important things of a person of knowledge is that they look forward to meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a good condition and being able to get these answers and different things from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a part of, you know, the hard work that they put in to try to be good people, and he give them a reward. Some people, knowledge is more of a reward than good food or more money. So, okay, as you like. If anybody else want to ask me something, I'm more than happy to help you, inshallah, if I can.
And I just want to say, as a word of advice to everyone, if you have questions, the best thing is to ask it in this forum. I know sometimes we may feel like, well, we want to ask our questions privately, and you may go and call Shaykh Ameen. And there's some questions that may be reasonable to ask privately if it's your private business. But for the most part, it's better if you ask your questions in this forum because it gives more respect to Shaykh Ameen's time, because this is the time that he has set aside to teach us. And two, it allows everybody in the community to benefit. So if you can ask your question publicly, please do so. This is the time to ask questions.
Thank you so much. Because Dr. Dunya wouldn't let us do that. He would say, he wouldn't even, most of these type of questions, he wouldn't even answer those. He'd say, well, save your question for the class, because many times your question is more valuable to another student. He just can't think of that question at the time. So when you say it, it brings it back to his mind, and it enhances his knowledge because you brought the question out. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. But you also have to try to, like, you know, just because we're all stuck in the house for the virus, don't mean that, you know, you should just be, people call me just because, you know, they're in the house and don't have nothing else to do. Because the same people, when the world is going at its normal pace, I'll never hear from them. So now that we're stuck in the house, it's like, okay, well, let's just call Shaykh Ameen. You know, come on, brothers, give me a break. All right, inshallah, is that it? Habib?
Nah, Sheikh, I think that's it for now, Sheikh.
Okay, so don't forget what I said. Older brothers that have been around long like me, you know, you got a choice now. We had our opportunity. A lot of people didn't take advantage of the opportunity that was there for us. Most of it has to do with our own personal emotions about different things. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent us these young brothers that, you know, they putting in work. There's a reason that I know all your children's names and I'm always asking about them, because those may be the ones who strengthen Islam in this part of the world or wherever they are, you know. We don't know that. Only Allah knows that. So, you know, we try to give them a good example through our life, you know. And as I see that group that's behind us, behind you guys, are very strong in intelligence. See, very strong in intelligence. I watched them real close. I said, oh, what a brain that kid has. So, you know, I think we're going to get there, inshallah. But there's some things, in order for us to change these, by Allah's mercy, for us to have a change, we have to change the way we think. Okay, you want to make some dua or something?
Sheikh, we like you to make.
I can make it.
Please make it, Sheikh.
So Dr. used to say, whenever we were in serious trouble, which we are, we're in this world, the world we're living in, is in serious trouble. He says, say, Allahumma inna nastainuka wa nastaghfiruka wa nu'minu bika wa natawakkalu alayka wa nuthni alayka al-khayra kullahu nashkuruk wa la naghfiruk wa nakhna laka wa natlahu wa natruku man yaghfiruk. Allahumma iyyaka na'budu wa ilayka nusalli wa nasjudu wa ilayka nasa wa nafidu narju rahmataka wa nakhafu azabaka. So this is, we should do that. Remember it. It's called the Dua Qanut. Remember that. They have a lot of different ones, like, you know, it's basically always the same, but they have some slightly different words and different ones. And you have to give the students who have spent a lot of time learning this fiqh, be patient and trust them. You know, they're there to help. They're there to help the nation. And you don't have to just talk to me. You can talk to them too, because I think they have learned these lessons very well. So some of them, Abdullah bin Islam, Haj Dawood, Habib Rasul, you know, these are all brothers that they can help you. Just, you know, search them out too. And you know, especially if you live in their area, you know, you wanna talk to them. If you know, try to keep company with them, because they're not gonna do bad stuff in front of you. I can guarantee you that. They're not gonna, inshallah, they are not gonna do bad things in front of you. And they're not going to let you do bad things in front of them. See, if you're talking too much, where you backbiting somebody, or you know just running your mouth, they're gonna say, brother, you know, I can teach you something about ghusl that Sheikh taught us. But you know, he told us don't talk like that. Don't talk about people. You know. Okay. I think I did my duty for you.
Of course, Sheikh.
Huh?
Yes, Sheikh. Yes, Sheikh, you did.
اللهم إني أسألك صلاة منه محمد نبيك صلى الله عليه وسلم
Ameen.
وأعوذ بك من كل شر استعاذك منه محمد نبيك صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Ameen.
اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما لنا وما أنت عالم به بالنار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الماء والممات ومن فتنة القبر ومن فتنة مسيح الدجال ومن عذاب النار وسوء المصير. And don't forget, you got Imam Ahmed Abdul Salam is out there. Take advantage of him. You know, take advantage of him. He has the right credentials that can help people. Okay? All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Sheikh. Shaykh Ameen, Imam Ahmed is greeting you and making dua for you in the comments too. I know sometimes you don't see the comments, but
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for everything, Sheikh. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We'll see you next week, inshallah.